So the question is, how, as a beginner or an intermediate, do we create a freestyle routine that we can use in a competition? And there are a couple of rules that we're going to try and obey when we come to putting a freestyle flight together. So the first thing is we don't have a large repertoire of maneuvers, so we're going to concentrate on precision. So you need to be as precise as you can in all the maneuvers. So we're talking about when you fly across the flight line, you need to be perfectly level, and you need to be evenly spaced as well. You don't want to be too much over on the left-hand side or too much over on the right-hand side. So precision is hugely important. The second thing is going to be your list of maneuvers. So we don't have a huge, let's say as an intermediate, we don't have a huge amount of maneuvers that we can do, but what we can do is we can do variations. So the first thing I would do is I would take your maneuvers that you know how to do, and I would write them down. Things like you can do forward flight, you can do circuits, you can do loops, you can do stall turns. Let's just say that's the absolute basics. So now, if you look at something like the loop, you can do a standard loop, which is starting at the bottom, do an upward loop, and then carry on. But this also means you can probably do a downward loop. So if you were starting inverted at the top, you could do a downward loop and then come out the top again. It also means you could probably do things like very small loops. So we could do 3 in a row, for instance. So we could come across the flight line, do one small little loop here, and another small little one right in front of us, and then a third one over there. You could also do a square of loops. You could start off in a circuit, you could do a quarter circuit, and then as you're going away, you could do a loop, and then you could carry on another quarter circuit, and then do a loop that way around, another quarter circuit, and then a fourth one right in front of yourself. And that's just a loop. Other variations, so you can do the roll, which means you can probably do a hesitation roll, which means you can do half rolls, which means you can do split S and Immelman. So I would create the main groups of maneuvers that you can do, and then I would write the shapes or variations within each one. And then you can start coming up with a routine. So the routine has to use space on both sides. Ideally, you don't want to be doing static things like TikToks directly in front of yourself, because the thing is, if there's any sort of wind and you get blown off, you get marked down for precision, and precision is what you want to go for on this one. If they see anything where they can take points away from precision, you're going to lose big time, because we're choosing very basic maneuvers. So we've said the rolls, we've said the loops. So you can do a stall turn. So we're going to do a stall turn on each end, and you don't want to repeat them. So if you have to do another turnaround on the one end, you can do a wing over. You don't want to keep doing stall turns. You can do stall turns in front of yourself. So we could actually do a set of climbing stall turns where you do a stall and you climb, and then you do another stall and climb, and another stall. And then you can do them descending as well. So we'll do 3 on the way down. So it's just about taking those maneuvers that you know how to do, coming up with the variations or the shapes that you can do them in, and then just making sure that you don't repeat any of those. And then you put them together in a pleasing way, or a way that just flows. So let's try that. Let's see if we can go out in the flight line, come up with a freestyle routine only using stall turns, loops, rolls, and circuits. Okay, so we'll start with a fancy takeoff. And then we'll go over to the right. And we're going to do a big stall turn. Nice and straight, wait for the top. And we'll come down, and we'll start our 3 little loops. So one over here. One right in the center. And one out on the left. And then we'll go up another big stall turn. So we'll come back along the same height. Now we're going to go into a galaxy. So a galaxy is just basically a climbing swirl. So we'll do something like 2.5 to get to the top. Then we'll change direction. And exit the galaxy. So now we'll go up for an Immelman, half roll out. We'll do another half roll. This time we'll do a downward loop. Another half roll. Now we'll do a split S, so half roll and then down. And now we'll go into climbing stall turns. So we'll do a stall turn right in front of us. Climb that way. Another one, climb that way. Now we'll do descending stall turns. So we'll come down. There we go. Now if we do a wing over this time, there's not a stall turn. And we can start our square of loops. So we'll do a circuit, quarter circuit, and do a loop. Nice and big and round. Another quarter circuit. Same size loop. Another circuit, quarter circuit. And then the final quarter circuit. A big size loop. This time we can climb up, split S, and we can do a square loop. Climb up, and we can finish with an auto. Okay, so in the end, that actually didn't look too bad. We didn't repeat anything specifically. I think we may have done 2 stall turns, but they were kind of separated enough. We ended up with a 3-minute flight, which is enough for a competition. And we actually had some really nice maneuvers in there. I think the square of loops would probably score really highly. And as long as you focus on precision, you're going to score highly in those points, even if the maneuvers are basic. So give it a go and let me know what you think.